The Good Morning is one of the most versatile exercises we have in our catalog that can truly train our posterior chain and help us get a much stronger back. And I'm going to teach you how to do it right here. So right now I'm going to be using my safety squat bar. You can obviously do these with a regular barbell, cambered bar, any specialty bar. A Good Morning, the way I like to teach people is think of like a deadlift, except the resistance, the load is on your back, right? So we are creating this hip hinge, right? So the way I like to think about it is a Good Morning is truly, it's a terrible squat per se, but it's used to make your squat stronger. Does that make sense? So a lot of people, when they struggle to squat or even deadlift more for that matter, usually the thing isn't their legs that are holding them back, right? It's usually their back strength. And the Good Morning is probably the best way we have to directly target the spinal erectors and how they work in unison with the posterior chain, right? So, hop in here. Now you can do these with a wide stance, closed stance, frog stance, toes in, toes out, toes straight. Don't be afraid to get a little creative with it. Now, when you go and you sit back into your hamstrings, we typically go about where the bar or the weight starts to creep out over the middle of the foot near the start of your toes. Depending on how light or heavy that weight is, you'll be able to get lower, right? Generally, when I'm doing Good Mornings and when I'm doing a max for Good Mornings, I don't like to go any higher than a 3 or a 5 rep max typically. Let's see how I sit back and then come up. When the weight gets heavier and heavier, inevitably, you're not going to be able to get over as far. So be conservative with your weight jumps. You can get really strong doing 4 sets of 10 with 40 to 50% of your squat max. And it'll go a long way for helping your back stay healthier and more durable in the long run when you're doing your squats and your deadlifts. So don't take these lightly. Wear a belt when you do these. Make sure you can even put the spotter arms up. You can have spotters spotting each side. I would rather you go a shorter range of motion, especially if you're a beginner and not quite sure of yourself, than to go too far with too much load and put yourself in a tough position. So be mindful of that. Don't let your ego get in the way, okay? So that's a Good Morning. If you have any more questions on how to execute it properly, feel free to shoot me a message over on Instagram, and I'll see you guys in the next video.